and I'm gonna move on to fusion power. U.S. firm to bury nuclear reactors 1 mile underground to power data centers. By utilizing the natural geological properties at that depth, this method eliminates the need for massive concrete structures used in above-ground reactors. Hey, Happy New Year, everybody. Hello, welcome to Inspired Earth. It's been a hectic year already, and we're just a month in. I got a bunch of big breaks this winter with getting on the radio a couple times, being able to talk about the show. I got a shout out from multiple people, all kind of at the same time. Just one of those things where it's like God giving me a bone, I guess, after working really, really hard for the last year. I can't believe we're coming up on a year of doing the podcast already. We're coming up on season 2. So I've been working on the season finale for season 1, and I'm looking forward to that. So we broke 100 subscribers, and we also have to celebrate that on YouTube. So massive gains there. And you know, with the shout outs and all the progress we were doing, I had kind of been expecting some sort of pushback. I mean, especially with the stuff that I talk about and the fact that we're like so on target with the information and so far ahead of the curve in the ball game, especially compared to like a lot of mainstream media stuff or entertainment, and it's cyclical even, so we learn stuff and then we'll even come back to it and you'll see it again. But anyways, so the pushback has started and my channel got demonetized, which is kind of frustrating because I had spent a lot of money in making sure I had the licensing for all the music I use, and I've always picked my words pretty carefully, obviously not carefully enough. I think I kind of have a couple ideas. I mean, it's hard to say what it was that got us demonetized because it's so broad and it's an algorithm, and there's no way to contact anybody to ask for specific details or even what to improve on or what like rule you broke. You have no idea what you did. And a lot of other people have talked about this stuff. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it. I kind of expected it. I expected it, honestly. I thought it was going to happen eventually. So with that, I'm going to like obviously continue to upload on YouTube and everywhere else. But if you really enjoy the stuff, I would recommend at least becoming a free subscriber to the Patreon, so that like if any of the accounts get blocked off, you can at least find it there. And for the people that are paying for the Patreon, thank you guys so much. And I have some stuff planned for you guys, so we will be sure to do that. And for anybody who wants to help with the Patreon and donate $1, you know, getting demonetized, that's now Patreon is the only way that I could possibly make money. I wasn't even making money from the YouTube thing. That's why it's so dumb to demonetize me. They're just preemptively demonetizing me. But for anybody that has donated money, I haven't even cashed it out. It's actually sitting there still, but and it's not much. It's literally like a couple dollars. But it'll go to the data. So anything that like you donate goes to the costs of uploading the data and hosting the data, because putting up episodes costs money as well as the music, but the money will all go to uploading episodes. So I just wanted to let you guys know where the money's going to go and what it's doing. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm not super good with that sort of stuff. I'm not very good at monetizing stuff. I'm not a big fan of that. I think a lot of that stuff should be free. So we'll just get it going here. I had to give a little bit of an intro. This is probably going to end up being a little bit longer than I wanted. But we're just going to try to not like speed through it, but we're going to try to move through it so that it's not too long. So the news has been crazy, right? Like, and a lot of the stuff that we talked about last year is coming to fruition this year. Um, we talked about. I should probably do like an episode looking back at everything that we've done. That would be fun because it's hard to even remember everything because we went through so much and so much has happened. But last February, when the show started, we talked about a whole new set of platforms and technology being released with the military and a restructuring of the military. And then a couple months later, as in like 10 months later in November, December, we had the drones all over the world that happened. And Trump's come out and said that that is totally normal. All of the drones were totally normal FAA research stuff. And apparently, right after he says that, he's in, I guess, Air Force One, his plane, and an object comes to Air Force One, and they're like forced to redirect or land. So if it is aliens, that's a great way to make him look incompetent and dumb. Uh, by him saying that it's nothing, and then they immediately come to him. It's like, oh, well, if it's a FAA drone, then why did you have to land your plane, Mr. President? Don't you all know what's going on? And I not to bounce back and forth too much, but that just reminded me of with the demonetization. They've basically taken my gloves off, right? Like, I have no reason to hold back anything at all anymore because I've already been demonetized. So they've taken it. They've taken my gloves off. So kind of with that reminded me with I'm just gonna try to just say things, I guess, boldly, and not hold back at all. So yeah, I've been kind of holding back, and I won't be holding back anymore. And that's what they did. So, all right, we'll move on. So, California depends on prison labor to deal with climate disasters. Canada must avoid a similar model. So, with the LA fires, which, they're trying to blame on the fact that, like, the fire chief's a lesbian, and that it's like they put the bureaucracy full of black people and DEI, and the fires are all because of the fact that we have minorities in power, is what some of the people are saying. And that is the biggest that's the biggest bunk I've ever heard in my life. Anybody that's followed this channel for long enough knows that we're having major climate issues. The water cycle's decimated. I mean, we've had endless stories on that, from the top down, fresh water, salt water, every type of water you can imagine. It's all screwed up. And so for them to try to blame, I'm not saying that like the management was perfect, that there wasn't mismanagement, but that is the easiest excuse, and what of the insurance companies? To just put it off on all these people. And the people they're blaming it on the mayor and like the county chief and all this stuff. Well, there's multiple counties involved and like multiple cities involved, and they're all just putting it on these two, like basically the two black women. And there's actual other people that are in charge where the fire is. There's a white man in charge, and nobody's going after him. So I think that that's really interesting. And I mean, that's just an observation, and everybody's saying it, like it's not even a controversial thing. That's just an observation, like I said. So obviously climate change has to do with the fires. LA has had like a 2% water rainfall. They're at a 2% rainfall total for that year. Um, as if having a 98% decrease in rainfall doesn't contribute to wildfire. And allegedly, as well, I say allegedly, but I've seen a lot of documentation on it, and a lot of people talking about this, that, they cut the fire department's budget by a massive amount and gave the police $100 million. So where are the police in all of this? Are they going to shoot the fire to death? Are they going to go and beat the fire? Are they going to make the fire stop resisting? I'm waiting. The police are not there. They're just taking all the money. And the fire department apparently didn't have enough hours to go and do the cleaning that they needed to do. And I'm not a fire expert, but I'm not. I almost forgot. That reminded me because there are actual fire experts that have been talking about this, and Elon Musk had said that, and maybe other people, but I know for sure him, because he just posts it everywhere and has such a huge mouth, that these fires were because of them trying to protect the fish, and that if we weren't trying to protect this fish, then we could control the fires. And that's what he was posting on Twitter. And so these fire department people had a meeting with him, a personal meeting with Elon Musk, and explained to him the fact that basically no amount of water can stop this fire, because it's actually very similar to the Hawaii fire, in that they had really high winds. They told the power company to turn off the power, and they didn't. And so a fire started because of the power lines, most likely. That's what it almost certainly is. And the winds are so strong that you have like 90-mile-an-hour winds in a fire, and you can't stop that. You can't put out a fire in 90-mile-an-hour winds. So the fire department people told Elon Musk that it's not about not having water. You could have a 12-lane highway in between you and the fire, and the fire would still come to the other side of the highway because of the 90-mile-an-hour winds. And you can't put aircraft in the air with winds that strong. So, I really like the comedian Bill Burr, all the stuff that he's coming out and saying on this stuff. Obviously not the guy's not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but a lot of the riffing that Bill Burr has been doing on the LA fires has been really on point and funny, and he basically is saying the same stuff that I'm saying. But as far as using slave labor and prisoners to fight the fires, the prisoners, the slaves, the firefighters were calling it involuntary servitude. And we were paying them $5 a day, and $12 or $2 an hour or something like that. Right here it says their wages are capped at $29.80 per day, comparative to non-incarcerated firefighters who earn up to $358 daily, not including overtime. So, yeah, I don't think that we should be having prison slave labor. Right here it says $1.25 an hour. And then here in the 70s, they were paying $7 an hour or a day, $7 a day. So, I thought that was pretty interesting. It hasn't been covered very much. This one I'm not going to read the whole thing of. Just going to kind of skim through some of these to keep it moving. Dozens of coastal skyscrapers in Miami are sinking, from Earth.com. And including Trump Tower 3 is sinking as much as 8 centimeters into the ground. And they were only built in 2016, less than 10 years old, and they're already sinking into the ocean. And apparently, about half of the subsiding structures are younger than 2014, and at the majority of them, subsidence decays with the time. This correlation suggests that subsidence is related to construction activities. The findings suggest that weight and vibrations from large-scale developments are pressing into the porous and sandy geology of the region, leading to gradual sinking. So they're building heavier buildings, and it's sinking. Imagine the logic of continuing to build these giant size skyscrapers on the edge of a beach that's eroding, that won't be there in a couple years, and the more that you build, the faster they sink into the ground. These people are stupid as hell. Like, these people are actual idiots. And they're putting all of the just stupid amounts of money into it. Mr. Trump Tower over here building his tower in the middle of the ocean. Great job, real estate dude. Makes me understand why, like, all of his businesses have failed and why he has to just do nonstop scams and charity scams, stealing money from kids with cancer in his child cancer charity scam. They got him kicked out of New York. And that's why he moved to Florida, is because the New York Attorney General was on his ass about that. So he has to steal money from children because he has all this money, and he's going to build a giant skyscraper on the edge of the ocean. Imagine being that idiotic with that much money and still being so dumb that you burn through all of these businesses. You can't have one business that works. You're that dumb. So that's just, it's shocking, you know. But so I should probably talk a little bit about you know, some of the right-wing listeners. I'm sure that a lot of you guys are not impressed with, like, me being frustrated with Trump, but you guys have to see what's going on. So it's not about being partisan. This is both sides are going to have to come together on this, left and right, and it will become more and more obvious that the right has been lied to and has been burned, and y'all are going to have to figure out what the truth is. And that involves finding out who actually gave us our labor rights, like in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, and the early 1900s. Who gave us our 40-hour work week? Who gave us our child labor rights? Who gave us our, maternity leave, or like any of that sort of stuff? Of why we don't have kids putting their fingers in gears at like 5 years old and working in factories. It's because people fought and died and bled for those rights. And I urge you to go back and look at who those people are in the past, because a lot of them were people on the left. So I know that the Democrats today are high-rolling aristocrats, and so are the Republicans, really. So that's why we need an actual party for the people, the common man. So I'll get off of that soapbox, and I'm going to move on to fusion power. U.S. firm to bury nuclear reactors 1 mile underground to power data centers. By utilizing the natural geological properties at that depth, this method eliminates the need for massive concrete structures used in above-ground reactors. Now, this is from January 8th. It's a little bit earlier in the month. But the reason I brought this back up is because I've said this for years. For years. And a lot of the people that have, followed on different media platforms, you'll know that I'm telling the truth when I say that. That I have said that we've had nuclear reactors underneath the ground. There's a lot of different reasons that I know that. Multiple, but I'm glad that it's finally coming out into the public. A lot of this stuff we've had for a long time, and it's only just now being released into the public. And as to why that's happening, that's a good question. But offering a unique approach to powering data centers through nuclear energy, Deep Fission and Endeavor Energy have announced a strategic partnership. Their agreement plans to bury small modular reactors a mile underground. As part of the agreement, Endeavor and Deep Fission have committed to co-developing 2 gigawatts of nuclear energy to power Endeavor's expanding global portfolio of edge data centers, said Deep Fission in a press release. Notably, the first reactors are expected to be operational by 2029. As if we don't already have them. Deep Fission, a nuclear energy company, is pioneering this new approach. They have designed small nuclear reactors that are lowered into 30-inch boreholes drilled a mile deep. Now, it's interesting that they're saying they're just dropping them in a hole, too, because we went over that nuclear boring machine, which, by the way, NASA is coming out with more versions of. We probably talk about that another time. They came out with a couple different versions of like a boring snake type of thing. So that's kind of interesting, but they can build more than just a little tube in the ground. They can build a massive compartment cavernous facility via nuclear boring machines. And that technology is also coming to be more into the public. Innovative approach with several benefits. This method takes advantage of the natural geological properties at that depth. The Earth provides robust containment and constant pressure. This eliminates the need for massive concrete structures, typically used for containment in above-ground nuclear reactors. So that's why they're doing just a little tube, is for the constant pressure. Though I feel like they probably have facilities that they wouldn't have to just dig from the very top, but whatever. This could just be them releasing it to us, like their method of doing that. So it doesn't all have to be the biggest and best, most advanced way to do it. It's just, they're just showing a method. This method takes advantage of... Oh, I already read that. This approach offers several advantages. It significantly reduces the cost of construction and minimizes the environmental impact by decreasing the surface footprint of the reactor. Our technology not only ensures the highest levels of safety, but also positions us to deliver zero carbon, continuous power at the cost of 5 to 7 cents per kilowatt. Wow. Furthermore, it enhances safety by utilizing the natural geological features as a barrier. Powering Endeavor's edged data centers with underground nuclear reactors. Endeavor's Energy 2 gigawatt of nuclear energy, which it will be developing with Deep Fission, will be used to fuel its growing global network of edge data centers, as per the press release. We are constantly searching for technologies capable of supporting the unprecedented demands of AI and meeting green energy goals, but they have to be economically viable. Deep Fission solution slashes the high cost and long timelines of surface-built nuclear projects, enhances safety, and delivers clean, reliable energy with high power density of more than 100 megawatts in a quarter acre. So it's kind of interesting that they're talking about having some crazy mile deep fusion reactor from the pressure of the Earth for the AI, and then we'll talk about it a little bit later. Or I think I have some, maybe I don't. So I guess I'll talk about it right now. But China released their DeepSeek, which is 50 times stronger than ours, and we're trying to make all these underground nuclear reactors to power our AI when theirs is super efficient. Two totally different approaches to tackle the problem. So I might as well talk a little bit about DeepSeek super quickly before we move on, since I brought it up. Trump had tried to make a $500 billion deal with all of the tech giants in America last week, and they said that America's entering a new golden age and that they're going to defeat China with this AI. Well, a couple days later, China releases a AI that like I said, is 50 times more powerful than ours, and was on less powerful chips because they've been sanctioned. They can't even get as powerful semiconductors as we have. So it's on a less powerful one, more efficient, that's what I'm saying, and more powerful on a less powerful chip. And immediately obliterated $1 trillion from the AI market, 500 over 500 billion from Nvidia, over 25 years of gains, immediately eliminated overnight, all because Trump tried to threaten China, and China just threw us some scraps. Like, hey, here's a free open source AI that's even 50 times better than y'all's. And it's shocking how far we are behind China. And we're talking about putting underground nuclear facilities to power our AI, and it's not even as good as theirs. It's hilarious. And while we're on the topic, I'm sure a lot of people downloaded Red Note. They banned TikTok. Millions of people went to Red Note and started learning Chinese, and they saw that people around the world can buy tons of food for very little money, and that we're the ones that are suffering. All the propaganda that we got taught about the rest of the world is totally wrong. They're all limited up, and we're working nonstop, 80 hours a week with nothing left behind to show for it. And the other people don't have to live like that, and they have healthcare. We don't even have healthcare, and we spend all of our money bombing other people, don't take care of anything at home. Everything's falling apart. So years of propaganda were all just completely undone by Red Note and the blink of an eye, and it backfired on them. That's what earlier in the couple episodes ago, I said that they're going to try to do all of this stuff, and it's going to backfire on them, or it could, or at least some of it. And banning TikTok, it backfired on them. Trying to go after China with AI, it backfired on them. When will they learn to cooperate rather than trying to be a supremacist and dominate everybody? We need to come to the table and cooperate for the sake of the planet and all of our future generations. We need to work together to solve our problems, because we can solve it, we just won't work together. So, I'll finish reading the article here. We're almost done. I just had to update everybody because, there's been so much news. And we're just going to do a speed run on this, so it might be a little bit wonkily edited. Probably not going to do much editing. Just try to go straight into it because it's going to be so long. But growing demand for nuclear energy. There is a significant momentum for getting power from nuclear reactors right now. In October 2024, Google signed the world's first corporate agreement with Kairos. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Kairos Power to buy electricity from multiple SMRs. As per a blog post from Google, it plans to purchase a total of 500 megawatts of power from 6 to 7 reactors. Adding to the series of developments, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman-backed nuclear power startup Oklo has entered a partnership to provide up to 12 gigawatts of energy to Switch, a leading AI provider and data center operator. This highlights the growing need for clean and reliable energy sources. These sources are crucial to support the increasing demands of AI applications and other compute-intensive workloads. The latest innovative technology from deep fusion has the potential to reshape the energy landscape and contribute to a more sustainable future. It offers a potentially safer and more cost-effective way to generate clean energy. The partnership between Deep Fusion and Endeavor will redefine how clean energy is incorporated into electricity-demanding industries, concluded the press conference. So here we go into a hydrogen nanogrid, which I've kind of talked about a little bit before. I've wanted to talk about more about it. I was actually kind of writing a book about hydrogen and nanogrids and how we could power the world and clean the oceans and give everybody clean drinking water and electricity, basically all with the same device. But who the hell would want that? Yeah, it's not gonna make money for all these different corporations. It's a dumb idea. But the military can use it. That's basically how all of this stuff works, And you have to laugh because it's so dumb and dark, but that is literally, I'm joking, but that's literally the truth. And yeah, so let's dive into it. First ever hydrogen nanogrid by U.S. Army replaces diesel generators at key missile site. Oh, I also forgot that Trump had just undone a bunch of hydrogen type of things that they were going to try to do. So, yeah, I'm kind of glad that I didn't write the book about like the coming hydrogen revolution just for it to get stomped on. But a nanogrid is a compact, self-sufficient electrical power system that functions independently from the traditional power grid. A lot of these startups are trying to be off of the power grid, and a lot of the power companies are not liking that. So that's going to be an interesting battle, seeing Amazon and the power companies battle it out, because all these AI companies want their own power plants. They don't want to get charged by a middleman, and the middleman wants their money. They're both very powerful. It'll be an interesting fight. So, in a pioneering move towards sustainable energy, the U.S. Army Engineering Research and Development Center, ERDC, recently showcased a groundbreaking hydrogen-powered nanogrid at the White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico. This demonstration, introduced in December 2024, marks a significant advancement in renewable energy applications for military operations and represents the Army's first operational nanogrid of this type. Again, I highly doubt they have never had this stuff before.